Welcome today for another episode of the Environment Dialogue here at UCTV. We are here always to explore, digest, articulate information concerning climate change environment, because understanding the status of Uganda's environment conservation is for our own survival and well-being, because you can never do without all this ecosystem that we have. And that's why we are going to digest the status of Uganda's conservation. That everyone, you've been asking that question, that where are we? Are we still lagging behind? What's happening? Today I have my guests who are from agencies that have been doing conservation. I have here Wildlife Club of Uganda. I have National Forestry Authority of Uganda. They are all here to explore this together. That's the reason why we are the champion, of this information, of this discussion here at UCTV. Without waste of time, let me welcome my guest, starting maybe from Mr. Aldon. Mr. Aldon has been here on our set. So he's not a new person here. He's now part of the family for this forum. So Mr. Aldon, you're most welcome today.
Thank you, Dickens. It is a very promising evening, and we are talking about conservation, something that we really dine and dwell in all the time at the National Forestry Authority. My name is Aldon Walukamba, the Communications and Public Relations Manager. Tonight, we are going to share a lot, but for starters, the NFA has done a lot in conserving the Central Forest Reserves in Uganda on behalf of government for all Ugandans. And tonight, let us know that from 9% in 2018, we now are proud of have increased the percentage of forest cover to 13%. Okay. We'll get to know more as we discuss.
Thank you. That's Aldon. Let me get to our new guest today from Uganda Wildlife Club. So, my friend, yes. Speak to the viewers there.
Thank you, Dickens. I'm glad to be part of this journey of the Environment Dialogue. My name is Hamuzah Ssesanga, and I'm the Program Officer, Wildlife Clubs of Uganda. Wildlife Clubs of Uganda is a non-government organization that is majorly doing conservation education and public awareness. And our specific and major objective is to ensure that our Ugandans and East Africans and the world over really understand the facts about conserving the environment and wildlife. And I'm so happy to be here and willing to deliver all the message and information concerning the status of our environment conservation in Uganda as per what we do as Wildlife Clubs of Uganda.
All right, then that's from our Hamuzah, from Wildlife Club of Uganda. I told you that you need not to touch your dial today. You need to listen to the information concerning our Ugandan conservation effort that we have tried. You know, from 1999, it was recorded that we lost over 24% of the forest cover since then up there. But as Aldon has said, that there are other efforts that the government have been trying, at least, even though Uganda has been recorded as one of the countries that annually they lose over 2.6 forest cover. But we have not sat down. And I know that since you people, you've been into conservation, you've been at least doing some work. I know when you're talking about the ecosystem, Uganda's ecosystem, you look at wetlands, you look at the forest, and all these are beautiful ecosystems that we have been blessed with as a nation. So today, starting with Aldon. Aldon, do you see that really our conservation efforts as a country, is it matching with the, are we doing something, or there is other things that we are lacking? Because if you say that now, at least we are, since is it 2000, we have tried at least to raise from 9% to 13%, which I know that is promising. But also, you're doing the conservation, you're doing the tree planting, you're doing other practices, but also we are seeing that there is another also a big challenge with the forest cover loss. Because if you're seeing the challenges that people have been always raising as NFA, you see that it's still something that also you need to deal with. So what are really the current status of our forest cover in let me say the environment conservation in Uganda currently?
When you talk about environmental conservation, it will factor in many things.
Yeah.
We look at the wetlands, forests, and other actors or habitats within the ecosystem and the biodiversity of Uganda. But let me be pointed to forests. In 1990, we had about a forest cover of 24%. Around 2018, it dwindled down to 9%. Upon realizing, as a National Forestry Authority, that agricultural expansion, for example, and other crude ways of land use that are detrimental to the integrity of our biodiversity and the ecosystems was leading to this. We came up, regathered ourselves, and said we need to intervene with better and approaches that were used before that can conserve the forests. In this, we boast of more than 38 tree seed centers in Uganda. So with the tree seed centers, we are certain of generating tree seed of even species that are rare. Yeah? For example, the mahogany antique.
Yeah.
We are the monopoly and masters of seed. So in Uganda, we can have as and when tree seed to plant. Now, after doing that, through a very good governance and management system at the National Forestry Authority, we delve into educating the masses about the importance of protecting certain seed for trees, nurturing them to grow into seedlings.
Yeah.
Now, after we get into seedlings, we see how to prioritize allocating and planting, restoring these forests. And that we have done throughout up to date, where our percentage of forest cover stands at 13%. Through these interventions with our scientists and researchers, with the good governance and management at the National Forestry Authority, we have also put up plans to disseminate, create awareness about the importance of forests, central forest reserves, why they should stay put without encroaching on them, without turning them into charcoal or firewood or any other thing. And in this, the management of the National Forestry Authority has created what we call the collaborative forest management. Collaborative forest management means partnering with the communities to embrace, protect, preserve the natural forests while also doing their own planting through agroforestry. So these and more are some of the approaches and means through which we have employed over the years as the National Forestry Authority to make sure that the forest cover increases, and we are not yet there.
Yeah.
We want by 2040 to achieve a target of 25% of forest cover in Uganda. We can do it together with the communities after sensitization, creating awareness and availability of resources in Uganda.
Okay, thank you, Aldo, for that. Coming to Hamuzah. Hamuzah, I've been seeing you working together with Uganda Wildlife Authority, Wildlife Conservation Center, all these organizations that have been dealing with the appetite for the wild animals and all that. So, do you see that really, that as a country, are we doing something towards the global goal of achieving the Sustainable Development Goal or the NDP 3 that Uganda has always becoming? Are we trying something according to the statistics that Aldon has told us right now?
Yeah, thank you, Dickens. Yeah, Uganda Wildlife Authority, in partnership with Wildlife Conservation Society, Wildlife Clubs of Uganda, and other partners, are actually doing what we call promoting Uganda as the best tourism destination through conserving the wildlife. By doing so, we are going to communities and we are sensitizing them on the Wildlife Act of 2019, which emphasizes that if any individual is caught killing, hunting, selling, and possession of any wildlife parts, you can be imprisoned for life, or you pay a fine of 20 billion Uganda shillings, or both. So what we do as Wildlife Clubs of Uganda, Uganda Wildlife Authority, and Wildlife Conservation Society is we go into the societies near the protected areas, because these are the sources of our biodiversity. Especially most of our biodiversity in Uganda is hinged into the protected areas. The ones that we have in NFA, because all the Central Forest Reserves are protected areas. The national parks, the game reserves. So people around these communities are actually the threat to this wildlife conservation or these resources, the natural resources. So if they are empowered and told on the importance of having these natural resources, not to overexploit them, then I'm sure the SDGs, like for example, SDG 14 and 15, protecting life under water and life above land, or life on land. We are achieving the SDGs in that way. And then SDG 13, protectionism, that is climate action. So when our natural forests or protected areas are intact, especially not subdivided, like for example, because of habitat destruction, people are encroaching onto the parks for agriculture practices. Those kind of activities reduce and have a great impact on the natural resources and the conservation of the environment in general. So if the populations are aware and are equipped, so what we are doing in this, now for example, we are running a campaign around Action Falls National Park. It is called Combating Illegal Wildlife Trade. But when people hear about illegal wildlife trade, what comes to their mind is killing the animals. But even entering into the protected area like the national park, and you cut the forest there, the trees there, is also illegal. The penalties you get when you are caught killing an elephant or a chimpanzee or a lion are equivalent to the one that you get when you are caught cutting. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Hamuzah, for that which you have said. You have actually. Then another question goes, because I've been always moving in this game reserve, these wildlife centers. Whenever you're moving, you see that some of the forest, the wildlife conservation area or the national park areas, you find that most of them are bare. So I don't understand. Is it maybe a practice or a principle that should be there for specific animals, or maybe there is also pressure from outside that some people enter into maybe the game park and cut down trees? Or I don't know, because I wanted to know that before I go to Aldo to ask him that why I'm seeing that some of the wildlife parks, they find they're only grass, you don't see trees in them. So I don't understand that. So before going to Aldo, please can you tell us why? Because I know that someone is there also. Maybe has been asking that question, like I've been wondering all along.
Okay, thank you, Dickens. In these protected areas, we have what we call savanna grasslands.
Yes.
I think most times we have visited savanna grasslands.
Yes.
That's why most cases, the populations of, let me say, forests and those of the grasses are less. You find less forest in a savanna grassland as opposed to, like for example, in natural forest, like for example, Chibale National Park, Bwindi Impenetrable National Park. Those are forest national parks. Then we have what we call savanna grasslands. Like for example, Queen Elizabeth National Park, Chidepo Valley National Park, Lake Mburo National Park. Those are savanna grasslands. That's why you will not find so many woody species of, plants as opposed to grass. That's because, but of course, you cannot leave it. Like people encroach and cut some of the trees. But of course, like I told you, if you are caught, the repercussions and the penalties are known.
Okay.
So the Uganda Wildlife Authority has built capacity to protect this wildlife and these natural resources. Yes, we have the government, we have to thank government. He has built the capacity of Uganda Wildlife Authority. They have fully fledged force. The executive director of Uganda Wildlife Authority, I'm sorry, I'm not speaking for Wildlife Authority, but is at a level, is at a level of a military general. He's commanding a full force that is protecting the wildlife resources and the natural resources in those protected areas. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Then, Aldon, why am I asking, why I asked Hamuzah about that question? Because I would say like that, why could NFA also take this effort, like he carry out this intervention, especially in areas to do with Karamoja? I see you like when you move in areas in Karamoja like Amudat, you go to Moroto, even some part of Kotido, you see that the whole land is just with grass. When we have seedlings, these seedlings that they were sent from Namavia, and these seedlings are there. So why are we not really taking this effort or this intervention of planting those? Because someone just asked me, said that because I have my land in this and this, but I don't know how I can really acquire or convince this. Maybe the government agencies like NFA to have at least the trees planted in those idle land. So how can someone really, or maybe there are principles or there are certain things that policies that NFA first look to, or they do a pilot, maybe project, a program before intervening maybe in certain those areas?
Fortunately, 2 weeks ago, I've been in Kadum Central Forest Reserve, near Mount Kadum, and then also Karamoja Central Forest Reserve. I've been in Karamoja. Currently, we are reopening boundaries in 5 Central Forest Reserves in Abim and Agago district. That is part of Karamoja and Acholi sub-regions. So, the NFA is pointed to restoration, reforestation, reduction in degradation, but also we carry out research on what type of particular trees are supported in a particular area and how do they grow. We have central forests reserves that have trees that don't grow longer than 3 meters high. So somebody may think there are no trees in the central forest reserve. No, they are actually trees. And there are specific actors or animals or even other trees that grow together with those. In that if you bring in an alien species, it may either destroy this habitat or even other actors within the ecosystem of that biodiversity. So we are particular in how we allocate and plant these seedlings. For example, in Karamoja, as you said, they are usually short trees, and they are stout very hard. Same applies to some parts of Acholi. And indeed, that's one of our achievements. The biggest achievement of NFA has been to maintain the 506 Central Forest Reserves in Uganda. Otherwise, they would all be degazetted. But because Parliament has not come out to degazette any, it means that NFA is doing the work that was given to it by the government on behalf of Ugandans. So we purposely go in, through our research, distribute these trees, seedlings, restore them. Restoration is very important in our work because every day, as we talk now, leaves are falling from trees. Trees are falling down. Trees are getting old. So they need, like a human being, to be restored. Just like the way you fall sick of malaria and you need to reclaim your life or your health. It's the way the trees are. And that's one of the importance of NFA, to make sure that even when trees fall down or because of old age, because of other factors, but not, of course, human factors, we are there to make sure that no tree is cut down by a human being all the time. That's why we have the enforcement. We maintain these forests to the dot as far as we can. With the enforcement, we have enforcement. We work with the police and also some specialized military personnel to protect these forests. And that's why you will see in some, that you see the grasslands, you see the shorter trees, and others, like Budongo, you see a very thick forest. Bugoma, you see a very thick forest in that kind of thing.
Oh, thank you very much, Aldon. I've told you that really these are people who are knowledgeable about what's happening in areas to do with conservation. And, you know, as Uganda, the government is not sitting down. At least the government is doing something towards the conservation efforts or measures in our country. So I just want us to go for a short commercial break, then we shall be back with more and more. Please don't touch your dial. We'll be back within a short minute.
UCTV, good news for all.
Kuleza Farm with Centenary Bank agribusiness solar loan of up to 50 million shillings for a solar-powered irrigation system on your farm. Enjoy a grace period tailored to your cash flows and loan offer amounts from 100,000 up to 50 million Uganda shillings with flexible loan periods up to 60 months. Apply for a Centenary Bank agribusiness solar loan through our branches, agents, and enjoy a fixed interest rate of just 1.7% per month. Kuleza Farm with Centenary Bank agribusiness solar loan today and watch your farming dreams come to life. Visit any of our nearest branch today or call our toll-free line 0800 200 555 or 0800 335 344.
Centenary Bank.
Centenary Bank is a member of the Center Group regulated by Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits of up to 10 million shillings are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda. Terms and conditions apply.
I am Father Sand Augustine Masbreka, bring you inspiration quotes on this Youth TV, and don't miss good news for all. Thank you.
Support the Uganda Catholic Television with MTN Momo. Step 1. Dial *165*3#. Step 2. Enter merchant code 180572. Step 3. Enter any amount from 500 Uganda shillings. Step 4. Pay using MTN mobile money. Step 5. Enter PIN code and send. Step 6. You will receive a confirmation text for supporting the Uganda Catholic Television.
Welcome to Seeds of Success. My name is Rwanga Godfrey. Seeds of Success, we talk about business environment.
If you want to be a millionaire, work for money. But billionaires work for wealth.
Social affairs.
Whom to blame via characters and talents? Is it tertiary institutions or humanity within the human beings?
And other topical issues. Don't miss on UCTV, good news for all.
Support the Uganda Catholic Television with MTN Momo. Step 1. Dial *165*3#. Step 2. Enter merchant code 180572. Step 3. Enter any amount from 500 Uganda shillings. Step 4. Pay using MTN mobile money. Step 5. Enter PIN code and send. Step 6. You will receive a confirmation text for supporting the Uganda Catholic Television.
Ronaldo down in the area, penalty!
Don't miss the sports link on UCTV. Catch us every Monday to Friday from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. as we take you into the thrilling world of sports in football.
And Messi! Thuram! Mbappe!
Saka shoot, deflects in, Arsenal have the lead!
Netball,
Ssesanga taking the shot, and look at that exceptional steal.
motorsports, boxing, swimming, and much more. UCTV Sports Link with Samgenza Mustafa. Only on UCTV. Good news for all.
UCTV. Good news for all.
Welcome back from that break, short commercial break. We are still here with you at UCTV, digesting this topic, or this critical issue today concerning Uganda's conservation effort, or the measures that the country has taken forward. So when we're still discussing how are we trying really to apply this intervention from NFA, from Uganda Wildlife Club or Authority. These are the agencies that at least have been trying. I'm not saying that they are the only one, but there are also some of the civil society organizations, some of the private sectors, and I know you as the community, there are certain community initiatives that you've even taken to protect your environment, which is really, that's a credit for you. I want to applaud those ones who have really taken those efforts for trying to protect the diversity around us. Because we know as Ugandans, we are so blessed with diverse ecosystem. And when we talk about the ecosystem, the wetlands, the savanna areas, the forest, and these are really what God has blessed with us as a country, and we need to protect it. That's the reason why we are called the Pearl of Africa. All right then, let me get back to that topic. I have been talking about how we are blessed with all this diverse ecosystem. But with this intervention that people are trying to carry out, you know that there are challenges. And I know that these challenges comes out of certain different, because right now also the population is a problem. And that's why we have seen also the effect of Luigi, how people had to degrade. And according to the report, we have recently said that Uganda is facing over 41% of the degraded areas. So don't you think that this 41% is really a problem to the efforts that people are trying to carry out, like NFA, for instance? And not only, and you know, when you talk about degradation, it means that it comes with the effect of population growth. And you know, as a country, it's recorded that annually, Uganda registered like 3.3% of the annual population growth, which is a big threat to the ecosystem which surround. And I was still telling also I said that I've seen people living in gazetted areas which they say that is a game park, and other people, and they don't send them out. So what's really the relationship between these people with maybe the Wildlife Club or Wildlife Authority of Uganda? Or maybe is there certain things that we don't understand? So now our issue is, how can we really, with all these things which are happening, the challenges, how can we really see that your intervention or your measures that you're carrying out, you're trying to take, is applied, and at least we know that people understand your messages of the conservation and the conservation effort that you're trying to apply. So, Aldon, what do you think that as NFA, the challenges that you are facing?
There are many challenges that we face on a day-to-day, from deliberate cutting of trees, fires, illegal logging, to corruption. But given the government's support, for example, we have partners like United Nations Office of Drugs and Crime. Yeah. Currently, we are having a training of all stakeholders, including UA and others, on how to fast-track the capturing and prosecution of forest crimes, wildlife crimes in Uganda. We have in the past had a challenge that when we get these culprits, you get somebody cutting a tree that supports a certain food web of animals, justice, even evidence is lost. But through these partnerships, and also through the Ministry of Water and Environment, we are trying to enforce how we work through going through the criminal justice. Yeah? And also this calls in other ministries like the Ministry of Justice, the courts of law, and all the other law enforcers, the police, and even the foresters themselves. Yeah. So we are working together to overcome these challenges. And one thing that people don't usually talk about, We have partners like the Red Plus,
Yeah.
reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation. In between 2015 and 2017, Uganda joined that fraternity under UNFCCC, where we registered 8 million tons of carbon dioxide absorbed by trees. This is an example in itself that if you're saying there is a lot of deforestation going on and there are no more trees in Uganda, how come we have attained this?
Yeah.
So this means that by attaining these 8 million tons of carbon dioxide being absorbed from Uganda's atmosphere, it means that the trees are alive and well and welcoming, doing their part for us to continue existing. They are the lungs of our lives. So NFA is relevant to that extent that the lungs, keeping the lungs of our human lives or the lives of living things in Uganda, animals, is partly backboned by the existence of the National Forestry Authority that enforces protection of trees, central forest reserves in Uganda, that gives out free seedlings, but also we have those that people can buy, genuine seedlings, that originates tree seed, because you cannot plant without having tree seed. So this is how we are doing our work and how we are overcoming the challenges. The corruption part of it, we have the IGG, who is also working closely with us to see that the tendencies of corruption, people who come in and corrupt, somebody takes a whole forest in a bid to try to do some maybe plantation agriculture or trying to sell it for cultivation, is no more. Finally, we have promoted agroforestry because through our research over time, we realized that the gains we matched between 2018 and today have been a result of preaching agroforestry. We realized that certain farming systems are only better if you have intercrop them with the trees, either on the boundaries or within the garden itself. So farmers are embracing this through the collaborative forest management groups. There are very many. We have over 1,000 CFM groups. And these CFM groups exist with the existing forest management plans. Let me tell you that each forest has a management plan. The way you manage Mabira is not the way you manage Budongo or Kadum forest. So after study, a plan is unleashed and communicated to the range managers who manage these forests with keen interest and particularly as per the plan is organized. So this is how we have these challenges, but this is how we are also overcoming them.
Yes. Okay, you spoke of those the intervention that you are taking in the community and also in the gazetted area do with forestry. Let me go come to Hamuzah. Hamuzah, I've seen you also moving in schools, moving in the communities. So what are some of this intervention? Because Aldon was talking about Uganda getting over 8 million tons of carbon, which we know that there is a new concept right now that the government is trying to push, which is called carbon credit. Don't you say that this is an opportunity maybe to do with, to try to deal with the issue right now that we have concerning the deforestation? Because we understand in Uganda that right now 80% of the rural community, they still depend on what? On charcoal as for wood fuel, which is really a very big which is a very big problem to your intervention. So what are some of the intervention that you have been doing in the community, or maybe you're coming up with, that can help really the community, or someone can adopt out there? Then you say that, maybe I should try this and this, so that I can come out of what? Maybe some other behavioral practices that's maybe offending or breaching other policies. So what are some of the interventions that you know that someone can really embrace in the community and apply where they are?
Yes, well, thank you, Dickens. As Wildlife Clubs of Uganda, we are majorly focusing on protection of our environment and our wildlife resources. And We have a number of challenges, but I'm going to figure out one opportunity that we are using, and we are financed by U.S. Forest Service, Department of Agriculture, to do some enterprise youth in forest-based enterprise project that we are running around Chibale National Park. In this project, we are looking at reducing the overdependence on the protected area, especially for those that enter it illegally to pick woodlots, to pick herbal medicines, and maybe to pick some other NTPs, non-timber products, for specifically making some weaving and all that stuff. So here we are doing what we call capacity building in the youth that are around Bigodi. Bigodi is one of the places in Kamwenge district, but neighboring Chibale National Park. There is a very big wetland there which harbors this, which is a home of so many. We have birds, very many, they record about 200 species of birds. They have reptiles, they have even some small mammals like statungas and all other things. But what we are doing now is to develop their capacity in ecotourism, especially training them to be good guides. We are running a campaign of training them to be good tourist guides, especially those youth around Bigodi, which is a neighbor to our protected area of Chibale National Park, which Chibale is the primate capital of the world. Did you know that Chibale National Park has the largest number of primates in the whole world, and that is in Uganda? So what we are doing is to conserve those primates through providing capacity or education for these people, the youth, to enable them give facts and good service to our visitors that come. You know, tourism has a very big impact on our GDP. Yes. So we are trying to educate the youth and encourage them to give good service, and not only to overdepend on the forest by cutting the trees and killing our wildlife, especially the primates. And you also know that Uganda is a signatory, and we want to thank the government of Uganda, is a signatory to a number of protocols, like for example the Kyoto Protocol, the
Paris Agreement.
Exactly, we have the Ramsar site, and all these ones are aimed at seeing that the biodiversity, the ecosystems are protected. Another thing is that we are doing still another capacity building in ladies or women that are dealing in herbal medicine, that is traditional medicine. Usually these ones are always attempted to go into the protected area without permission, but we are building their capacity so that they can add value to their products, and we are working with Toro Botanical Gardens to enable them come up with these seedlings of these medicinal plants. Yes. Another thing is that as Wildlife Clubs of Uganda, with partners, we are doing what we call conservation education and public awareness, which is very key, and I'm sure even in NFA we have come, we want to thank them. They have always been offering tree seedlings for free to all our member schools. You just write to NFA through our other partners, and then they give you the tree seedlings. So when you go to these schools and talk about conserving the environment, and you have something to show, you have something, you know, conservation without incentives doesn't move. Conserving moves along with incentives. That's why we are giving out, you give these young people a tree seedling, and you tell them, please grow this tree. They will have that attachment to conserving the environment. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, then you talked about all those efforts that they have been trying in the community. Then now the question about like the people entering illegally enter into gazetted area, forest area. Then now this came to my mind. I want to ask Aldo. Aldo, you say that you're still having some issues like in Abim with the people of Nepono trying to say this is our area, this is our land, and all this is this all deals with the policy. Don't you see that maybe the policy that we are having, people don't understand this policy or maybe are outdated? Because I know that many people have always come to criticize how the government is just doing anything, but you find we have all these policies in place. So what are some of the measures or intervention that NFA is coming up with, especially to deal with such issues that we know that is affecting, first of all, the ecosystem, and also we need to do a balance where human life is protected and with their property, and also the wildlife is protected with their habitat. So what are some of the interventions that that NFA is trying to deal with?
The National Forestry Authority, through social and forestry research, has found that there are unique communities in these protected areas.
Yeah.
I believe in the Wildlife Authority, they have them in the Queen Elizabeth.
Yes.
The indigenous people who have stayed in Queen Elizabeth since even Uganda became independent.
Wow.
Likewise, in forestry, in Uganda, there are people who they were found within a Central Forest Reserve. These are examples of Jubia Central Forest Reserve, Mabila Forest, yeah, and others.
Because that's why people have been asking also that question. Why is it that they construct a stadium that some people are living within the forest?
These people, as National Forest Authority, we've lived with them because the forest is there and they're also there. But they don't only expand on their land. They are called enclaves within the forest.
Yeah.
They stay on their land and they don't increase it. But what we do is to continue sensitizing them and motivating them to coexist with the forest because they've coexisted for time immemorial. The same applies to fishing communities in Muvuma, Kalangala.
Yeah.
These people have grown up, they've lived on these islands, which are forest reserves. But do you chase them away to construct on water?
No.
You only have to sensitize them. You sensitize them, show them the value of where they are, and let them know that this is a gazetted protected area.
Yeah.
So that you only learn how to coexist. Currently, we are putting up plans to give these fisher folks in the island districts of Uganda,
like
trees, teach them how to plant trees, teach them the value of not cutting down trees, so that they do their fishing, but as they are doing also forest conservation. Those who have been doing agriculture, they do agroforestry. We are planning to give them licenses, so that we live with these people in a harmonized way. Yeah. Because when you chase them away, they are Ugandans. Where will they go?
These are Ugandans.
You only have to have mitigation measures. But these are special communities in Uganda. The other thing, in order to reduce pressure on the Central Forest Reserve, we are promoting plantational tree planting.
Yeah.
Where somebody plants a certain type of species of trees after acquiring a license from National Forest Authority, and say for timber and harvests.
Yeah.
We have people in Mayuge, Busoga Forest Company. They even plant trees to make charcoal briquettes, but on a sustainable manner. They cut the trees and they have a planting plan, and they consult with us to do their work. We issue them a license and they go on. So these are some of the ways in which we are learning and motivating ourselves and the communities to together promote conservation of forests and also protection of the forests themselves.
Okay, Aldon, thank you. Hamuzah, he was talking about protection of the forestry, reaching out to the community, to the young people, even people who are living within those areas. Don't you think that the policy, is it, the question is that, is the policy that we have, is it to ask for the people, or maybe we need to update our policy, or we come up with certain things that really the community can agree to, and also the government say that no, we need to strike a balance between this this may be the bylaw that the community maybe they feel that could be applied or can enacted in the law. So what are really these? Because the biggest complaints has always been people saying they don't know about this, even though when they are caught in the act, they will say no, we don't know anything about this. So what can we do really? what can the government do also, maybe other sectors, the private sector, the CSOs, and international NGOs can deal with this issue, especially that most of the issue happen in the rural areas, and most of these forest, the game parks, the national conservation centers, they are in rural areas. So how can really the government or with other sectors deal with these people?
Yes, thank you, Dickens. That issue is there, but what I want to assure you and our viewers is that our people nearing these protected areas have been sensitized, at least. And what I want to assure you is that Uganda Wildlife Authority has a department of community conservation. And in each protected area, they have a community conservation ranger. And this one is responsible for hearing and educating the people around the protected areas about the Wildlife Act, about their need to access the protected areas. I want to tell you that Uganda Wildlife Authority gives opportunity to local people to access the protected area, especially to get timber, wood, fuel, and a few things, medicinal herbs. But that one is done with a permit. You go to your LC1, then from LC1 you proceed up to the conservation, the community conservation department in Ua. And then there is also what we call the community conservation, which is very much into informing the people about protection and even using these wildlife resources. And another thing is that where there are protected areas, there is what we call the revenue sharing policy. Uganda Wildlife Authority shares that it is actually usually 20% of the revenues that are being collected from the gates and the visitors or the tourists that enter into that protected area. And then that money, the 20% revenue sharing goes back to the local communities near the protected areas. It is now the local people to decide what they want the money to do. But usually UA has been building schools together with partners, schools, hospitals, bridges and roads from that 20% of revenue sharing policy.
Okay.
Yes. So these people near protected areas are actually benefiting. But you know, human beings, us as human beings,
we are rational.
We are ever controversial.
Yeah.
Yes. And the other thing is that we are trying so much. Like, for example, I told you we are running a campaign on illegal wildlife trade, and we are doing awareness for desisting against these illegal practices, especially near Action Falls National Park. And this project is funded by US AID, and we are with UA, Wildlife Clubs of Uganda, and WCS, Uganda Wildlife Conservation Society. And we have really moved to a number of the communities in the areas of Kiryandongo, in the areas of Pakwach, the areas of Bolisa, schools and communities.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. You need to also come to my area in Abim, because Aldon say that the people of Nippon in Abim, they still have that issue. With that project, you need at least to reach out. I think that you need NFL and who are then you guys, we need to work out, especially now that they have a project targeting those 5 districts in Karamoja and actually sub-region. So I hope BIM will be one of the beneficiaries of that project so that people can be helped, because ignorance is not a defense of the law. So without waste of time, because we are at the nick of time, Aldon, I just want you to give your recommendation to the viewers and what really they can take out of this discussion and what they can do for themselves in the community.
Yes, the NFA will always execute its mandates to manage and develop central forest reserves. But the issue of conservation is for each one of us. As the populations grow, as the needs for biofuel increase, the needs for herbs, and we should put in mind that we also need to protect the trees. We only need a good, breathing good air, a good environment. So let conservation in its entirety take the initiative and responsibility for all of us. From National Forestry Authority, I'm Aldon Walukamba, the Communications and Public Relations Manager.
All right, thank you, Mr. Aldon. Let me come to Hamuzah. Hamuzah, you can give your final remarks and conclusion to the viewers.
Yes, thank you, Dickens. Conserving our environment and wildlife is everyone's responsibility, and we would highly advise our people to protect and use our wildlife resources sustainably, because it is actually helping us all. Let us not be selfish, desist from illegal wildlife trade and all those habits that are leading to exploitation and destruction of our conservation areas and protected areas. I'm Hamuzah Ssesanga, Program Officer, Wildlife Clubs of Uganda. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, for coming. Thank you really for having me in the show. From our side, in conclusion, even though Uganda is facing environmental challenges, but you know that the government is also doing something to mitigate all these challenges that they are facing. That's the reason why we are calling upon everyone from the government, from private sector, from civil society organization, and also the local community, that NFA cannot do this alone. Wildlife Club of Uganda cannot do this alone. You can never do this alone, because the work is too enormous. That's the reason why they are calling everyone together, that let's please put hands together and preserve our environment, preserve our community, because the issue of environment is the issue of life and death. So we need to protect our ecosystem, and we shall always be here at UCTV every Wednesday to update these issues concerning our environment. So without waste of time, I would like to thank you, our dear viewers, for sparing your time to listen to this information every Wednesday. Share this information. If you're watching live in your TV, if you're watching from your phone on your YouTube channel, please try to share the information. Don't be selfish to get the information alone, but share it with your friends, share on the groups. If you have any comment, anything that you want really to us across, you can really, we have in our YouTube channel, we have the comment section there. You can type your comment and we'll receive it and see a way out to help you all out to adjust certain things or to fine-tune the show the way maybe you feel like. So we'll always bring different people from different communities here at UCTV to discuss the environmental issue, because this is what we feel that we need to protect the Pearl of Africa. Without waste of time, thank you that today we are powered by UCTV management, by Caritas, by all these people who have come. I remain Dickens Ochero. See you next Wednesday at the same time from 8 to 9 on UCTV Live. Then also those ones who have missed out the live coverage will watch at the YouTube channel, our YouTube channel for UCTV. That starts from 9 p.m. to 10. So thank you very much. Have a blessed evening.
UCTV. Good news for all.